There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
Righty, here we are, Edge Radio 99.3 FM. This is Media Mothership, coming out of the radio station in Nipaluna, Hobart, Tasmania, broadcasting on 99.3 on the FM dial, as well as streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. As always, on Media Mothership, we deep dive into interesting media stories and news and other unusual phenomena in and around pop culture and entertainment. So let's dive right in now with some intriguing news stories which have come across the desk here. All right, let's start with a really fascinating first article, and to get us in the mood for this article, what better place to start than a bit of dramatic music straight from Lord of the Rings. Yes. IGN is reporting on a story where Pope Leo has quoted Gandalf from Lord of the Rings as he issues stark AI warning. Yes, even Gandalf wouldn't trust AI with the fate of Middle-earth. So why are we letting Silicon Valley decide humanity's future without a say? Surprising detail from this article is that the Pope invoked Lord of the Rings wizard, one and only Gandalf, the pop culture icon, to underscore AI risks, blending high technology with fantasy to reach the wider audience. I guess the Pope's really diving into that Gandalf fandom out there. So the story is basically talking about how Pope Leo issued a number of stark warnings about a number of dangers facing humanity today, including unregulated AI, quoting Gandalf from Lord of the Rings in his Manifesto Magnifica Humanitas. He calls for slowing AI development, banning lethal autonomous autonomous weapons, and ensuring democratic oversight of AI ethics. Yeah, Pope Leo cited Gandalf with the quote, "It is not for us to know the end of our days, to warn against rushing AI without moral guardrails." He insists AI must not make irreversible, lethal decisions. Human control is non-negotiable, especially in warfare. Major AI players like Anthropic's co-founder Chris Olah attended the Vatican event, showing early industry engagements. So it's an interesting question. If a fictional wizard like Gandalf's warning is now being echoed by the Pope, does that mean we've finally reached a cultural tipping point on AI? Or are we just still talking while the machines accelerate? It's an interesting moment, I think, in history, which reveals this growing clash between tech optimism on one hand, you know, all those CEOs getting invited to do graduation ceremonies in the US, espousing all the optimism of tech while being booed by the attendant student masses. So you have this clash on one hand, tech optimism, with, from Pope Leo, ethical caution, where even a pop culture icon like Gandalf is being repurposed as moral commentary. It signals that AI is not just a technical issue. It's becoming a defining cultural and spiritual debate of our time. So the IGN article goes on to put the quote in the full context. So basically, in this manifesto, Magnifica Humanitas, under the section titled "We Can All Do Our Part," Pope Leo channels Gandalf to hammer home the point. So to quote directly from Pope Leo, he says, "The 20th century Catholic author J.R.R. Tolkien in the words of a protagonist in one of his novels, describes our responsibility in this way. And here is quoting directly from Lord of the Rings. It is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. That quote is from Lord of the Rings. Indeed, it's the third book, The Return of the King, where Gandalf addresses a gathering of lords of the allies at the gates of Minas Tirith. Great scene. At this point, Denethor and Theoden are dead, of course, and Faramir is recovering from his wounds in the Houses of Healing. Among those listening is Aragorn. The quote in full, I'll just read the quote in full, it's good to hear. So the quote in full is, "Other evils there are that may come, for Sauron is himself but a servant or emissary. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule." So the IGN article goes on to say, the question is, will the tech leaders of the world so obsessed with AI that has come to dominate Western economics listen to Pope Leo? Yeah, troubling words. Again, I know during the height of Harry Potter's fandom, there were people asking, what would Dumbledore do? Rather than what would Jesus do? What would Dumbledore do? Here it seems Pope Leo's asking, what would Gandalf do? That again is Pope Leo quotes Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings as he issues stark AI warning. Okay, so now going on to the next really interesting bit of news that came across my desk. Again, let's start with an audio hint. All right, that's is from the Red Dead Redemption 2 game. Article from IGN again saying Red Dead Redemption 2 overtakes Wii Sport in best-selling game of all-time list. So this interesting article here addressing the quite interesting story that indeed it looks like, before we even see the dust settle on GTA 6's announcement, right, which is around the corner, Red Dead Redemption 2 from way back in 2018 when it first launched has quietly gunned down, if we're to stay in universe with the cowboy game, Red Dead Redemption 2 has gunned down Wii Sports to become the third best-selling game in human history. Wow. So this article is basically talking about how Red Dead Redemption 2 has officially surpassed Wii Sport to become the third best-selling game of all time, reaching 85 million copies sold as of March 2026. Despite this historic success, the game remains locked at 30 frames per second on modern consoles. Shocking, 30. Well, it packs a lot into each one of those frames. It has also sparked fresh debate about Rockstar's support for the title, while attention shifts to GTA 6, of course. So again, Red Dead Redemption 2, great game, absolutely fantastic, where you play the, what's the name of the character? John Marston, I think? Anyway, as this kind of slow burn, epic kind of journey into the Wild West of the US. It's quite a milestone it's hit, with 85 million copies sold. to get number 3 status, overtaking Wii Sports. It is an interesting frustration that fans are still waiting for the 60 frames per second patch for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, with it being stuck at 30 frames per second. And it's an interesting question the article raises about the future, with Rockstar, the game's publisher, still mainly focusing on GTA 6. But recently, co-founder Dan Houser has confirmed Red Dead Redemption 3 will probably happen, though no timeline exists. Interesting, surprising detail here is that it's wild to think a game released way back in 2018 is still selling more copies in a single year now than it did in most years since its launch, proving its staying power. It's kind of evergreen, long tail, is unmatched even as the industry races towards the next big thing of GTA 6. It'll be interesting, again, that speculation that Red Dead Redemption 3 will probably happen. If Rockstar finally does do that, will they focus on deeper multiplayer mode this time? I mean, the multiplayer for Red Dead Redemption 2, while, Rockstar have said they don't consider it a missed opportunity, nevertheless, it didn't ignite the interest as much as other multiplayer spaces has. Compare it to Helldivers or something. Again, the main point is this is a single-player masterpiece, really, Red Dead Redemption 2. And single-player, I think, personally, is enough to carry the franchise alone. Again, some of the news we've been covering about the Dune Awakening game, the Ark game have both kind of shown a shift away from PvP to PvE. And I think within that, a sense that single player or that more maybe comfy gaming is more interesting. The story highlights an interesting shifting cultural value where these type of legacy games, like Wii Sports, Red Dead Redemption 2, are increasingly outlasting newer releases in sales. Right? So it suggests audiences are increasingly willing to invest in deep, immersive worlds over the constant churn of new, shallow releases. If we've got a game that launched way back in 2018, still performing incredibly strongly. That is, it's selling more copies in a single year now than it did in most years since its launch. It really does suggest a series which has, in 2018, gamers are still wanting that deep engagement. It's an interesting contrast with Wii Sport. Wii Sports being the game it overtook, which is really casual and social, whereas Red Dead Redemption 2 is cinematic and immersive. Wii Sports also is, it's family-oriented, whereas Red Dead Redemption 2 would really be considered one of those auteur games, one of those prestige titles. Wii Sports, if we compare it to Wii Sports, it's a kind of plug-and-play game, casual game, whereas Red Dead Redemption 2, many people have sunk 100-hour plus into this game. It's quite a time investment. Wii Sports, again, is a gameplay real kind of toy in a way, whereas you've got that narrative world of Red Dead Redemption 2 and the hardcore engagement really of Red Dead Redemption 2, but that long tail showing its sales are enormous compared to the earlier big broad accessibility of Wii Sports. It's an interesting question as to what it means that one of the best-selling games ever is effectively a slow, melancholic Western simulator. That's Red Dead Redemption 2. It opens an interesting question there around that kind of, again, gamers today are happy to sink the time in, even to a 30 frames per second game, like Red Dead Redemption 2 from 2018, because it's so rich. It's such a prestige title. It's such a narrative world to sink into. All right. right, let's jump in now to an interesting article. Again, we'll play a little thematic cue to it. Yep, so that, of course, is the theme music to the popular TV series Survivor. This article is coming out of Gizmodo. Prediction markets are becoming TV spoiler generators. Jeff Probst is irked by Kalashi and Polymarket. So this article asks, it makes an interesting point. Next time you watch a reality TV finale, remember someone already bet millions on how it ends. And the odds might have spoiled it before the credits even roll. Again, prediction markets are becoming TV spoiler generators. The article goes on to talk about prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket are letting people bet on reality TV outcomes before they air, turning odds into accidental spoilers. High confidence bets, like the recent Survivor Series, which had a 97% bet on a Survivor winner, often leak the results, angering producers and changing how fans experience shows. I know Henry Jenkins' book, Convergent Cultures, had a whole chapter on the Survivor show and the forensic fandom around survivors, which does try to figure out who won the Survivor series or that winner of that series before it airs. And in Henry Jenkins' book, talks heavily about these forensic fans going to the hotels, trying to see who's checking in and out, all this kind of detective work. But of course, here we're talking about something different. Rather than fans, out of curiosity for the love of their show, this is about people wanting to turn the odds into a lot of money. And within that, prediction markets are now, of course, becoming major spoiler sources, sometimes more reliable than the official leaks. Hosts like Jeff Probst blames these platforms, even as trading volumes now for these gambling sites hit millions. Networks like CBS are scrambling to figure out where the leaks are coming from, if even the contestants don't know who was the final winner, except for, of course, the contestant that did win. So it's a real headache. Interestingly, the article reveals a surprising detail about how one user risked $45,500 on Survivor 50 just to make a $4,500 profit. So obviously sank a huge amount of money into a high odds, likely chance of getting it, to just turn a $4,500 profit, suggesting inside knowledge was almost certainly involved in that decision. Just over 45 grand. So they could turn, 4,500 profit, suggesting, they definitely knew what was happening. I mean, it's an interesting question. Would you still watch a TV show if you knew there was a 97% chance who wins before the episode aired? Yeah, well, sometimes they say it's the journey, not the destination. Yeah, so this was Savannah Louie, who had an 86% chance to win Survivor Season 49, according to the Kalshi traders, who will win Survivor Season 49. So again, this trend shows how financialization is reshaping entertainment, turning stories into data points and suspense into spreadsheets. Challenging the very nature of surprise in media. Yeah. Well, there was another interesting article I came across regarding the upcoming Spider-Man movie, where the toy line leaked a as of yet unannounced superhero character making an appearance. I don't think it's surprising because it was very much in the trailer. the character of Bruce Banner, is in the trailer for Spider-Man. But they hadn't yet announced Hulk will appear, but the toy line for the new Spider-Man movie has detailed the new Hulk action figure. So spoilers can come even from toy lines. I wonder if anyone had placed bets on that in the prediction market as to whether the Incredible Hulk will appear. I don't know. Who knows? All right, next little article is around a cozy. I always like finding something about cozy games, cozy board games, cozy music, of course. Cozy, the genre of cozy, is that rising interest in literature and video games, which are kind of low stake. They're just chill outs. They're not about 3-act structures where there's a inciting incident and dark tea time of the hero overcoming odds moment. It's all cozy. It's all chill. There's an article out of Automaton, headlined Cozy Story-Driven Companion Game Lets You Study or Work Alongside an Apprentice Witch. That's right. Imagine if your study session didn't just help you finish a report, but actually helped you save a fantasy world from the shadows. That's interesting. I mean, body doubling, right? So there's that psychological theory of, if you're distracted, if you're on the spectrum of ADHD or something, and you're full of distractions in life, you go to a library and you're surrounded by people, hopefully in a library, who are studying hard, and you start body doubling. You just start, seeing bodies around you, studying, learning, reading hard, and that instills a sense of, I will do what they're doing. So this is an interesting, cozy way of doing, as you're playing the cozy game of a witch studying, an apprentice witch. Your game lets you study as well on your real things. So basically, this game is Memory, a chill story. It's an upcoming productivity game. It's a great genre, productivity games. I wonder if they're first PS and shooter versions. Productivity game where you work alongside an apprentice witch named Memory in a fantasy village. Unlike modern lo-fi companions, it features a Celtic-inspired atmosphere and a narrative that hooks piece by piece as you complete real-world tasks using a Pomodoro timer. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Pomodoro timer, for those that don't know. You usually set it up around something like 25 minutes. It pings, the timer pings, and then you have like a 5-minute wind down or a 10-minute wind down. You sit up, you stand up, you go get a drink or something, and then you come back, and then you hit the Pomodoro timer again. It does 20, 25 minutes, and then pings, you do a break. So again, it's that kind of sectioning of time. So this game wraps the Pomodoro time into the kind of side quests you're doing, or the main quest that you're doing, giving you various tasks to perform as well. So yeah, as it says in the article, the mechanic uses a real world Pomodoro timer. Every work session you finish unlocks new story dialogue and visual changes in the witch's room. The vibe, again, it's set in this village that blends dark, magical world with cozy study vibes, featuring Celtic music and ambient sounds. It's developed by Beakside. It's coming to PC, Mac, all over the place. Yeah, free demo at the moment. So it'll be interesting. Surprising detail from this is that most productivity companions just sit there, I guess, like the Pomodoro timer itself. Whereas Memory, the character, is actively fighting a dark presence during the game in the world. And her room will gradually fill with magical artifacts and a favorite cup that hint at the big secret she's keeping from you. Wow. Yeah, it raises an interesting question. If you could have a magical companion help you get through your work, would you choose a witch, I guess? I don't know. I think I'd be down for a robot. Maybe a lo-fi cat. SMSN Y 04 888 or reach us on the chat on Google and Twitch. It's interesting. I mean, this article, again, that genre of productivity gaming, a genre which moves away from, I guess, the normal aesthetics of gaming, first-person shooters and stuff, towards this kind of narrative-driven companionship game, right? So, I guess that it's appealing to gamers who are wanting some emotional stakes in the storytelling, and then also, multitasking with a tool they can use to be more efficient with their productivity. Intriguing. It is, gamification of productivity. Does this article also suggest a kind of loneliness economy where it's kind of you're not studying with a partner or a friend, it's a game? But I do think that virtual co-working has become pretty standard. Certainly COVID, we were all virtual co-working like this game. And yeah, I guess that there's that kind of parasocial theory. You're not actually socializing with this game space and which, but you are parasocializing and productively. Parasocial productivity. Anime aesthetics is interesting also to see. So obviously there's the well-known, the lo-fi gal on YouTube, the hours and hours of just music to study to. So I feel like that anime aesthetics of this game, the emotional regulation that it's offering, again, there's precedences with the those type of YouTube study music clips that go for like 6 hours. It raises again some interesting thoughts around why people are needing this kind of simulation presence to function. I don't know. Productivity apps becoming emotional support systems. Right. It'd be interesting to see where it's going beyond this being a cute indie game to being a kind of study with me stream. An AI companion, lo-fi kind of girl culture aesthetic and storytelling. Intriguing. Who knows where that will go? Thank you, Newt. All right, next article from Games Radar. Viral developer tells players don't buy this game on Steam yet because it's about to go on sale. It's a nice idea. In the gaming industry, usually it's obsessed with driving immediate sales, min-maxing your profit margins. One developer just flipped the script, it seems, and told you don't buy it yet, just wait because it's going to come out on sale. This article is talking about the indie developer behind a viral typing game called Final Sentence, who's publicly urging players don't buy the game right now because a sale is just around the corner. It's a rare moment, probably, of a type of honesty from a creator who wants gamers to save a few bucks for a coffee or a keyboard rather than paying full price for the game. So this was on Steam, told fans, just wait a few days because it's going to go on sale. And I guess, that honesty really has resonated. Here it is on Games Radar getting a headline, that sense of it's a nice thing. In fact, one commenter on Reddit said, it's the nicest thing I've seen on stream. On Steam. Surprising detail, while the game's horror theme involves a gun to the head, the developer's actual concern for players is practical. They specifically suggested saving the discount money for a compressed air duster for your keyboard, joking that cleaning out years of crumbs is worth the purchase of its own. So again, it's interesting transparency that counterbalances against, your kind of aggressive monetization to instead market it around, the honesty of the game designer to get a bit of viral interest in it. All right, we're back now. I guess following that up, let's actually, while we're talking about this issue of marketing hype, an interesting article around marketing hype I came across was from Kotaku. Headline, follower of Jesus who routinely helps people suffering from demonic oppression fired from popular board game site for rejecting Satan-themed game. Subtitled, The Werewolf-Inspired Social Game was compared to a child predator by the site's ad manager. Wow, this is full of drama in this title. So a board game company, this is Board Game Geek, just fired its own ad manager for refusing to run an ad for a game about Satan, not because of company policy, but because the manager claimed it was spiritually dangerous and compared it to promoting sexual predators. Wow, that escalated quickly. Basically, this article talks about how Board Game Geek's advertising manager was fired for emailing two, game designers who asked about their ads for the game called Possess Me Satan, telling them, this is the game, this is the advertising manager told them that people heal from demonic oppression and comparing their game to making one about sexual predators. The manager's personal religious beliefs and unprofessional tone sparked a viral backlash that actually boosted the game's crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, again, that kind of advertising vibe. So the ad manager, identified as a follower of Jesus, claimed the game made him sick to his stomach and urged the creators to cancel the project entirely, citing personal experience with demonic abuse. It's a bit of a double standard, though. The creators pointed out that Board Game Geek was simultaneously hosting ads for other occult-themed games, like All True Believers, to which the manager replied that Possess Me Satan was simply more obvious and designed for shock value. Interesting outcome, with Board Game Geek co-creator Scott Alden terminating the employee, stating the response did not reflect the company's business conduct, while the game's crowdfunding goal more than doubled immediately due to the controversy. Yeah, it is interesting, Again, the ad manager's social media, the article goes on to talk about how the ad manager's social media revealed a history of posting homophobic rants and claiming that being gay is caused by generational causes and spiritual oppression, leading to a massive online dig-up of his private accounts before they were all wiped. So, yeah, a real lynch mob there, unleashed onto that advertising exec there at Board Game Geek. And, yeah, very dramatic. Very dramatic. But, again, causing great promotion for this game to more than double its Kickstarter goals. But, yeah, again, it is that strategy of using kind of maybe shock tactics, exciting news to really create interest and drive home interest into your board game or card game or variant thereof. Dipping now back into the last little article from this week, 15 movies, shows, and games with excessive extra law study required. This is an interesting article out of Den of Geek. It's interesting because I do think that, again, tackling this issue of your favorite movie or your favorite TV show, which to some people might increasingly start feeling like, a final exam that you didn't sit for rather than a fun night out. With the Mandalorian movie out at the moment, it's interesting to consider the type of homework maybe around that, or the lack of. I mean, the Mandalorian movie has, Filoni said it was deliberately created as a movie that you could watch without having done your homework. But it does raise that question of of the homework, the excessive lore homework required these days, it seems, to engage in some franchises, with modern media franchises seeming to increasingly require more prereqs before you can engage them as well. It opens up some interesting question about, superhero fatigue, the kind of ecosystems around lore literacy, right? That kind of cultural capital, social capital from knowing all the lore, as well as, on the other hand, the barriers of entry, this kind of places for people wanting to engage with them. We'll go through the list, but, I think it's worth asking yourself, is this effort to engage in franchises, is it enriching or excluding engagement? If you're having to do all this extra reading of books, watching of other series, our audience is kind of having to co-create the story as well. That this complexity that's there, while it might seem, rinse and repeat, is it replacing originality? So let's look at some of the series that are raised in this Den of Geek series. The first one they highlight is Halo 5 Guardians. Halo 5 drops players into a universe where already packed with expanded lore from earlier games, novels, and character arcs, making parts of the conflict hard to fully appreciate without prior franchise knowledge. Book of Boba Fett, the series that was on Disney Plus recently. The series works better if you already know Boba Fett from the original Star Wars films, then also follow major setup and overlapping character arcs, interestingly from The Mandalorian, which pop up halfway through that series. Dark Souls 3, Avengers Endgame. Endgame, of course, interesting aspect for that coming up at the end of the year. This is the MCU superhero storytelling, multi-movie TV show phenomena, where the next Avengers film will be at the end of the year, and they'll be re-releasing Endgame, but with new scenes that set up the next Avengers movie. So again, you're having to watch... you're going to have to watch the movie again if you want to get all your homework done before watching it. Scary Movie, currently in cinemas. Again, you really need to know your pop culture references. You need to have done your homework before you watch Scary Movie to get all their in-jokes and references, as well as the baggage from the previous Scary Movie films to get it. The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey is an interesting choice because, of course, the Hobbit story and films can stand alone, but their larger context, certainly as Pope Leo was pointing out at the start of today's show, is really is going to be enriched by how much you know about Tolkien's lore and how, I guess if we're talking about the film, how that film trilogy connects backwards as a prequel to what's coming next, the Lord of the Rings series. World of Warcraft, my gosh, yes. I mean, that's an enormous franchise space, strategy games, novels, right? I mean, yeah, exhausting. Elden Ring, even series like Daredevil, Born Again, it requires some effort at watching previous Daredevil series to get the relationship history. Deadpool and Wolverine, Once Upon a Time, Hannibal series, Kingdom Hearts, Baldur's Gate 3, The Batman, all these series, of course, draw upon your ability to have pre-existing knowledge of that other show. So, yeah, I mean, what series are coming up? What homework needs to start happening now to get ready for franchises around the corner? Of course, the big Avengers one is probably the main one to start maybe thinking about whether or not you have the energy for it. And, yeah, interestingly, of course, there is a kind of counterbalance to that with the current Mandalorian film, interestingly being more of a TV show rather than adding anything to the kind of storytelling from that.
You're doing good, lad!
Yes, thank you. All right, well, actually, that's pretty much it for the show. For 5 to the hour. This has been Media Mothership for another week. You can visit previous episodes on edgeradio.org.au website or jump on YouTube. Just search for Media Mothership. All the video podcasts as well as podcasts are up there. Or if you're just a podcaster, visit your podcast platform of choice and find us Media Mothership on that. I've been your host, Craig, for another week. Keep listening now to some cool tunes, and we'll be back on Media Mothership next week for some fascinating deep dives into the world of media, popular culture, and entertainment around us.